How to get a harem. It's time to answer the age-old question of, how do I get a harem? We've all been watching anime and manga long enough to know that there seems to be a general disconnect between what is displayed on screen versus what is actually occurring. All through my years in middle school and high school, I was never told that I had some latent special ability that would allow me to save mankind. I was never asked to pilot a giant robot that would allow me to save mankind. I was never sent on a quest to save mankind. I could go on. But there was one thing that I felt I should have been able to attain, and that's a harem. We've all seen the shows, from Ranma 1/2 to Ichigo 100% and other titles with figures in them. There's a main character who is usually of high school age, and every girl wants to be with him. Then we look back at our own lives and we think, how on earth can we make this happen? I too would like to go to school and all of a sudden have a gaggle of girls flocking to me at every random turn. But somehow, walking up to a group of girls and telling them about the intricacies of Nin didn't cut it. But I'm here to tell you there's a formula, a surefire way to get that harem you deserve. So let's call this one rumination. Number 1, be the dope. The days where you would have to be the cool guy to get the girl are long gone. In fact, it seems the less cool you are, the easier it is to get the girls into you. Allow me to explain. Girls don't want a guy with a devil-may-care attitude, a sharp wit, a sense of danger, and the balls to play by his own rules. Girls want steady and reliable predictability. Always be there for a girl. If she's having a bad day, find out why, and see if you can do something that will make it better. Someone who is the rebel doesn't have time to do something like this. They're too busy being good at sports and talking back in class. In fact, if you're attractive and popular, most girls will find you annoying and stuck up. And they'll be eager for you to leave so they can get back to the dopey kid. So while he's doing that, it's your job to notice the little things about girls in your life. In fact, I would say that the bigger the dope you are, the more the girls will respect you. Not because you're a loser, but because they know deep down you have the potential to become a winner. Just look at Rosario no Vampire. Tsukune was the biggest wimp this side of the grade. But all the hottest girls of the academy constantly rubbed their tits on him because they knew that one day, if they stuck it out, he would turn into someone they would want to date. So how can you be a dope? Stutter a lot. It helps if you have a problem talking with girls. There's nothing that anime girls find more attractive than a guy who can't talk in front of them because he's too embarrassed. They'll find him cute, and they'll be instantly curious to find out why he can't say a word. Once they discover it's because you have a general terror to the point of wetting yourself around any attractive girl, they'll be so flattered they'll press their tits on you some more. So, sorry, Ranma. The times of the 80s where you had to be popular and cool to have multiple women after you is over. Now you're just an annoyingly good-looking athletic superstar who doesn't know when to shut up. 2. Be clumsy. Trip. Hit your head. Stub your toe. Fall down a lot, especially onto girls. There's nothing that a girl finds more flattering than when you fall down on top of her. I dare say it's a requirement. We've all seen the moments when the main character is undertaking the difficult task of walking down the hallway when he trips over a protruding floor tile. He takes a tumble and falls on top of the girl he likes, or the girl who likes him, or the girl who hates him but just because she doesn't like anyone, or the girl who likes his best friend but could be convinced to like him if only he'd fall down on top of her. He lands right on top of her, and for a breath they look into each other's eyes and blush. There's nothing better than a good blush to let you know where you stand with a girl. Though as a persistent dope, you should be oblivious to this fact. That is how you create a moment, because in that instant, she will like you forever. Now there are 2 types of landings. There's the fall on your knees and hover over her, and there's the grab her breast move. The grab her breast move might actually be the more powerful of the two. You would think that looking into a girl's eyes would develop a deeper connection. You might help her up, find out her name, look her up later, but that's false. If you want a girl to like you, you have to grab her boobs when you fall on her. And don't just grab them, really give them a squeeze so that the titty meat is squished between your fingers like rising dough. Nothing makes a girl like you more than when you awkwardly grab her boobs after you trip on top of her. Now, the secret is the reaction afterward. You have to be thoroughly embarrassed, not because you shouldn't have done that, but because you have never felt a boob before. So, you feel the shame of being unworthy. How do you express this embarrassment? Leap 3 feet in the air, shrieking and apologizing so she can see how pitifully cute you are. Girls love that. 2A, an optional move. Have a nosebleed. Have so many nosebleeds that you'll be needing a blood transfusion. This isn't mandatory, but if you see any exposed skin, especially if it's a boob, blast gallons of blood from your face so hard you rocket into the stratosphere, crash into a wall from the flight, faint and collapse, maybe even landing on top of her and grabbing her breasts again. This is a special flavor where a girl can feel appreciated. After all, the popular guy doesn't bleed all over the place for her. Now she knows you care. 2B, a second optional move. Fall down in such a way that you remove part of her clothing. If you can fall on top of her and somehow pull her pants down so that her butt is exposed, you're in. If you trip and grab onto her blouse, yanking it open so that her boobs flop about like 2 inflated windsocks, you're doubly in. Girls love this. In fact, they will be so embarrassed because you are the first person to ever see their private parts that they will want to marry you. They might even demand that you take responsibility, and that leads to the sex. But not till the OVAs. 3. Get a friend who's even lamer than you. You need a friend who constantly talks about sex. You need a friend without a filter who has to say every sexual comment out loud. If everyone is looking at the cute girl who wasn't so cute the year before, he'll be the one to point out how much she's grown in bust size. He will be making all the charts and comparison tables of which girls are the top in the class. You need a friend like this to point out one thing about you. While it's okay to think about sex all the time, to get caught staring at any exposed flesh for hours on end, to tackle girls to the ground, systematically disrobing them and feeling their fleshy thighs, it is not okay to talk about it. Never do what the best friend does and talk about the girl you like. You should be embarrassed to even say her name out loud, and the girls who flock to you will not let you forget this. He will always try and get with one of the side girls who isn't really interested in you, and that's fine because she might even be a bit into him. I mean, she is a bit of a pervert, but the other girls will just think he's lame. What's more, they will be constantly comparing him to you. So, if you guys go away on a school trip to the hot springs, again, I know, and you have to pair up on a lover's walk, all the girls will be desperate not to be in his group, but to be in yours. Also, he will try and get you to peep on the girls in the baths. Always say no, because when you go to bathe, somehow one or more of the girls will get lost and end up in the bath with you anyway, and they will be too embarrassed to leave. Because it was their own fault, they will insist that you stay, and when you return to the dorms at night all steamy and full of memories, your best friend will be covered in bumps and bruises from getting beat up by a group of women when he was discovered peeping. 4. Know your types of girls. Since this is a harem, you have to know the types of girls that are coming after you. Each girl is going to have a wildly different personality, so you need to understand each personality and act accordingly. You can't just behave the same way around all of the different girls. Not initially, at least. So here's the breakdown within the breakdown. The tsundere. She doesn't like you. She hates you. She's mean and rude and says whatever she wants. Oftentimes, she hits you. If you happen to see her while she's changing, be prepared to be sent flying. Accident or no, phrases like misunderstanding do not compute for her. But deep down, she's very embarrassed and shy, and she can only show this shy side after she's punched you in the throat. But you understand. You don't get mad at her for overreacting, and if you do, it has to be when she does something so horrendous that even she will realize that she screwed up. This will be the turning point in the relationship. She'll still berate you, but afterwards she'll want to hold your hand. The idol. She's the best looking girl in school. She's every guy's sweetheart and the one who every guy has a crush on. She gets asked out all the time because unlike the tsundere, she's not frightening. But she can't go out with anyone because a good girl should not be doing such things at this time in her life. If you want to go out with this girl, you have two options. Either ask her out directly in a goofy yet charming way that makes no sense, like doing pull-ups. She'll be so charmed by your directness and by the fact that you meet her criteria of dopiness, because she secretly saw you being kind to someone earlier, that she will accept. The other way is to secretly get engaged to her. Either have your parents set it up when you were a baby, or stumble on her secret life as the daughter of a rich but diabolical tyrant, where you are forced to get engaged to her or die. The shy girl. Show her that you notice her. Then she'll draw pictures of you or write poems about you or something. The little sister. Date her big sister and you're in. She'll want you because her sister wants you. The yandere. Run. So there you have it. This isn't everything you need to know, but it's enough to get you started. And I know that if you're serious about getting a harem, you'll follow these steps to the T. And T means tits.